If you're interested in the Brownells BRN-180, you need to understand that there is a specific lower receiver for that upper, which is so fantastic. Well, it starts off with their billet machined receiver, and this thing has a lot of cool features that I really like. Being that it's billet machined, you don't need that roll pin to put your magazine catch in. They have it drilled and tapped for a solid pin. Just use a little hex wrench and put it together. It's so much easier and less frustrating. It's got a machined in one-piece trigger guard. You don't have to worry about putting that on. When we get to the back end, you'll see that it is definitely different from a standard AR receiver in that it doesn't have that buffer tube threaded extension piece there. It's not the big hole with the detent and the spring. This has a ability to put on a folding stock, so we can mount that on there. We'll do that last. When you flip it over, you're going to see that there is a tiny screw, a little set screw that goes in, because that's where your takedown pin goes. So your takedown pin actually orients differently this time. The channel, instead of orienting, towards the pin in the back of the gun, it now orients towards the ground. So we can take that little tiny detent pin and put it in there, and you take your spring, you can put that in, ensure that it's captured, and you're good to go. So what I ran into is that this spring is so much longer now, and there's no way I'm gonna push that in and capture it with that screw. So what I did was, I decided that I was gonna cut 3/16 off of that spring. I cut about 3/16 of an inch off that spring. I'm gonna put the cut end facing outward. That's about how much generally sticks out of the back of my receiver on my AR-15. So I left it like that. I'm not gonna try to capture it. From here, I'm gonna insert my safety selector, make sure I'm on the right side of the gun. Put that in. I'm gonna put my selector detent in. And then I'm gonna get my selector spring. I'm gonna put it in the grip. So I'm gonna try to do this so that you can see it. I'm gonna hold that selector in position. I'm gonna put my grip on, and I'm gonna pin that rear takedown spring right there, being very careful not to kink it or crush it. I'm gonna make sure that my selector is in position. There it is, I can feel it in place. And from here, I'm gonna keep it all pinned together. Put my grip screw in. With that all snugged down, I'm gonna check to make sure that my takedown pin works. Ooh, it's tight. Rear takedown pin works. Selector works. And from here, I can take my Brownells folding stock, mount that up. Just snug that up so you can see how that works. So the BRN-180 lower receiver, a neat little package, very specific to the BRN-180, and those are some tips that you can use when you build your own.